नाज़रीन, इस वक्त मेरे साथ जेमी जॉन्स्टन है, ओनर रीमैक्स कॉन्डो प्लस, और इनसे चूँकि 1977 से ये ट्रेड में है, रियल एस्टेट में है, इनसे काफ़ी सारी बातचीत हम करेंगे। जेमी, हाउ आर यू?
Thank you for having me, Zia, and let me just say salam to all your viewers.
Walaikum salam, Jamie. Thank you very much for coming. My pleasure. You are in a trade from, what, 1977? Long time.
Yeah, that's why I have no hair.
You must have seen a lot of ups and downs of this market, right?
Absolutely. You know, I was very active when the interest rates were even 22%. So today's rates are a real pleasure.
How do you feel now?
I feel excellent, and I feel very positive about the market.
I know initially when you started, I believe the condo market was pretty much a very new product, right, back then.
And it was non-existent, actually. Oh, really? And the first units were co-ownerships, not condos.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Can you just share with the audience a little more about this co-ownership, and then how the condo get introduced in Toronto's market?
Well, co-ownership was the first type of ownership where people had the right to use an individual unit, but they didn't really own the unit, okay. And it was the cooperative that owned the building and the land altogether, and it made it very awkward to finance. And then they came up with a new creative way called condominiums, yeah, where the owners actually owned their individual unit, and the condo corp owned the land and the common areas. So that's what really made condominiums take off, when they changed the ownership structure from co-ops.
There's one really common question coming my way, and I believe you might be handling that question on day-to-day basis as well. Number one, what is the future of condominium, and what is the future of entire real estate when it comes to Toronto market, including low-rise?
Well, I'm very bullish about the Toronto real estate market for a number of reasons. We have an active number of people moving to Toronto, not just immigrants to Canada, yeah, but also people from other parts of Canada. So Toronto is continuously growing, and that's a key factor in having a strong and vibrant real estate market. I think the other thing people need to realize is that the Ontario government introduced a thing called a green belt concept. Yeah. A number of years ago. It forced all the future development of growth inside that green belt area in the GTA. And what that's led to is more intensification and higher densities for housing going forward. And that has really spurred the condominium market.
And what do you think about low-rise market?
Well, the low-rise market, certainly the prices are rising faster, yes, simply because there's very little new product being built. Yes. Right? So there's a real attractiveness to condominiums, and that's why so many condos are being built today, because of this need to intensify, and also because condos have become a cheaper form and more affordable form of housing for many people who live in Toronto.
And which pockets are the niche pocket when it comes to a condominium market?
Well, most people prefer the downtown market. I think immigrants prefer living right downtown. Yep. That's what they're used to. The other key driver of the condo market is millennials. These are young people, yep, under 40. They'd rather go to Starbucks than cut the grass. So they want to be downtown as well too.
Wonderful. And where do you see condominium future?
I think it's going to continue to grow, and the reason for that is for new construction, we just can't build any more low-rise. There's very little low-rise. So in terms of the condominium market, we need in excess of 20,000 new units each and every year just to keep up with the levels of people moving into Toronto.
What would be your guideline? What would be your guidance towards buying or investing in these condominiums when we are getting new investors on day-to-day basis? So what would be your say about that?
About investors, I think for investors, they need to know where the strong rental markets are going to be. Okay. So as you well know yourself, you're very experienced in the downtown market, and that's where most of the renting is coming from. So I'm a big believer in the downtown market for that. When you look at condominiums in the suburbs in 905, there's usually a need for about one condo building per subdivision or neighborhood, and that's just to accommodate people who want to sell their big house and move into a condo. But the market there is very limited.
Okay, great. And you have seen, like, you know, a lot of like, you know, changes in downtown, in the skyline as well. How you foresee in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, I think we're going to continue to see what we've seen over the last few years. I would say that 2013 was a market pause. I think you felt that as well. 2014 has been excellent, and I think going forward, there's nothing in the horizon to suggest any change in the marketplace. So it's going to be excellent going forward.
My last question, Jamie. People are fearing that, you know, what the interest rate going to go, and then real estate market drops. It's not going to drop overnight, but what do you think, up to what extent this this interest rate goes where you can see a change in the real estate market?
You know, I'm asked that question all the time, and I laugh because when I first got into the real estate market, what drove the market was inflation. Inflation was always good for real estate, and that meant higher interest rates as well too. So all I'm going to say is I don't believe interest rates are going to rise for the next 12 to 18 months. Okay. But if they do, two things are happening. You've got inflation, which is good for real estate, and you're going to have people's incomes rising at the same time, so they're going to be able to afford the higher interest rates. So, you know what, I think that I wouldn't worry about that at all.
I'm quite hopeful about this city, about Toronto, about Canada overall. It's a great city. It's a great city to invest. Thank you very much to join us. Definitely in the upcoming time, we can talk about real estate a lot. नाज़रीन, जैसे आपने देखा कि जेमी ने अपना इतना एक्सपीरियंस आपके साथ शेयर किया और इन्होंने बहुत अच्छी बातें की आपके साथ, इंटरेस्ट रेट के हवाले से, इन्फ्लेशन के हवाले से। तो यहाँ से चलते हैं हम अपने नेक्स्ट सेगमेंट की तरफ। जस्ट स्टे विद मी।